There's a wind of change in the air. Despite the sluggish global economy, one company's third quarter results was their best in their 29-year history. Top Glove, the world's biggest glove supplier, recorded a quarterly profit of 347 million ringgit in the third quarter ending 31st May this year, way more than the 75 million ringgit they recorded in the same period last year. Their monthly sales orders went up by some 180%. This also resulted in longer lead times, going up from 40 days to around 400 days. Now, they're aiming to reach a production capacity of 100.4 billion pieces by the end of next year financial year. Founded in 1991 by Tan Sri Dr. Lim Wee Chai with just one production line, Top Glove has since come a long way to become the world's largest manufacturer of gloves, commanding 26% of the world market share. With experts expecting COVID-19 to remain in our community for potentially years to come, how will the glove industry face this long-term demand? How will Top Glove face this wind of change? Datuk Lee, let's start with the posters that we've been seeing everywhere, on the doors, on the walls. These posters which has your phone number on it, and also the "Be honest, no cheating" phrase on it. Tell us more about that poster and the value that Top Glove has.
Yes, this culture started a long time ago when we implemented our anti-corruption initiative. Initially, we were impressed by the Police Diraja Malaysia when they spotted a big badge on their label that says anti-rasuah. So we took that as a very good sign, and we copied that badge. And from then on, we have this badge on every of our employees' shirt, pinned onto it, day and night. And it helps to remind us of the importance of honesty, integrity, and transparency. Because we realize that as a company becomes bigger, you need to set a very good foundation. You need to build a strong foundation so that as you scale up to do bigger things, your structure will be strong and you're able to take yourself to do many, many bigger things. So this culture has been with us a long time though, and I am the advisor of this anti-corruption unit. We have regular meetings, and we are so proud that 3 years ago, we were the first Malaysian private company that was accredited with the ABMS system, the ISO 37001 ABMS system, which refers to the anti-bribery management system. So that it is an achievement by itself, and it came in very naturally for us because we were already implementing a lot of these processes and procedures. So it didn't come in as that difficult for us to move from the transition without ISO to ISO. So the badges that you see on the doors, in the buildings, on our trucks are basically reminders to ourselves, and also the sharing of good values with the community so that we hope that everybody will live this principle in their daily lives. And that will enable Malaysia to be able to reach the developed status much faster.
But does that translate into producing better products, taking care of your employees, better values for your stakeholders, for your shareholders? Does that translate into all that?
Certainly. You heard about nowadays that companies that practice ESG are the ones that usually earn an extra premium over the others that don't. So likewise, our customers, our suppliers, our employees also, they are happy to be dealing with us because we practice those good values that are universal in nature and applies in every facet of the business.
Let's talk about these allegations that was made by a foreign media saying that Top Glove doesn't take care of its employees, especially during times when there is a higher demand for products. So employees have to work much longer hours, their salaries deducted. Is there any truth to these allegations that was made by, or that were made by these foreign media companies?
We have denied those allegations. In fact, those allegations came in at a time when I believe that the activists and some other parties are trying to seek public attention. And who else better to target than to target the biggest glove manufacturer in the world? And in fact, since news broke out end of December 2018 about the importance of social compliance, and that was the first time it was brought to the attention of Malaysia. I remember towards the end of 2018, everybody started to realize that there are a lot more things on the fact that you have to take care of your workers, the fact you have to handle the recruitment process well, the fact that you need to have transparency in every process of the recruitment exercise. So that particular time, it was highlighted. And it so happens that they're highlighting on the glove industry. And it so happens that the first story they broke was on the biggest glove manufacturer in the world. So we learned a lot from there. To be honest, we should thank those parties that highlighted it at the time, because without which we will not be aware of some of the requirements that are important to our customers and important to a lot of other stakeholders in the industry. So we took it upon at that time, end of 2018, till the whole of last year. We spent a lot of effort, a lot of resources, and a lot of programs to lift ourselves from that. And right now at the moment, I'm glad to say that we have complied to all the requirements.
So your employees are really well taken care of now?
Yes, and I would like to give you examples like where could you find an organization where they specifically set up a medical center to take care of their employees? Where could you find organizations that employ 7 nutritionists, 3 doctors, 1 dentist, and 5 nurses, and a lot of other support systems to take care of their employees? Where do you have employees that devote the whole floor of corporate office space, 17,500 square feet, to have a gym for its employees, and so forth and so forth now. So there are so many things I could quote that all these are not highlighted. But some of the news report choose to highlight the exceptional. Like for instance, they highlighted about during COVID-19, social compliance was not being taken seriously. And mind you, they highlighted it at the time was the beginning of COVID-19, where every company is struggling with the new norm to know about what is the best way to cope with the crowd, what is the best way to do the morning assembly, what is the best way to wear face masks and etc. So they chose to take that part of the time, that period of the time, to label us as non-compliant and label us as carefree and not bothered to implement the safety measures. In fact, for Top Glove, the safety and welfare of our employees are paramount to us. And so having this additional cost to take into account that it brings about better safety to our workers and our staff, why not? In fact, we practice social distancing, we practice work from home, we practice a lot of postponement of events, and etc., etc. And we have segregations in the canteens. We have sanitization of the living quarters. We have face masks distributed every day. And we have thermal imaging stations, temperature taking every day. In fact, we follow it very strictly. And we also ensure that we practice it in the transport buses that take our workers to work every day. And in many other public areas, we do a lot more. Because to us, it's important to ensure that our workers are well enough and not to fall sick during this critical time. And good thing for Top Glove is that for the past 10 years, we already had a healthy culture in our DNA.
So it was easy to transition
So
into
it
all
was
that.
easy to transition that. It's not like some other companies where they had to get used to, being clean. If you take a walk in our factories, in our office, not easy to find a piece of rubbish. Am I right? Not easy. If you could find a rubbish, it's your lucky day. Because everyone picks up rubbish. Our chairman, Tan Sri Dr. Lim, encourages all of us to pick up a rubbish or 2 pieces of rubbish per day. And so when you have to pick up rubbish, you will not want to throw rubbish.
Let's go back to that demand that you mentioned earlier. Your monthly sales orders went up by about 180%, and you now have longer lead times,
Yes.
going up from about 40 days to about 400 days,
Yes.
which means that if I order now, I probably get my products a year, more than a year later.
Yes.
What are some of the measures or investments are you putting in to probably ensure shorter lead times and to manage these orders, the sales orders that went up by 180% monthly?
Okay, good question. We have been operating at 80% before COVID-19. So when COVID-19 came in, we ramped up our production lines, and currently we are operating close to 100%. And secondly, it's a good thing that Top Gloves has many factories. To date, we have 35 factories and another 10 other supplementary factories producing formers, chemicals, producing packaging materials, producing latex concentrate. And so with these 35 factories, we are able to increase the capacity because there are always new lines coming. For instance, for Top Glove, every year we build about 2 to 3 big factories. And every year we will add about 50 production lines and increasing the
2 to 3 factories per year and 50 production lines, right?
Yes, 50 production lines. And these 50 production lines will give us about 1 year, 10 billion new gloves. 10 billion new gloves. So you can imagine every year you increase by 10 billion, 10 billion. Currently our capacity is at about 87 billion. And by end of the year, we are looking at close to, end of the year, we're close to 100 billion. 100 billion. And that itself is coming to more than 26% of the world market share of examination gloves. And the other thing fortunate about Top Glove is that we have operations everywhere. I think at the moment, we are the only glove manufacturer based in Malaysia that has factories in China, factories in Thailand, factories in Vietnam. So including Malaysia, we talk about 4 locations where we have production lines. And even in Malaysia, we are very well diversified. We have factories from the north to the south, east to the west. North is in Kulim, south is in Kluang, east is in Kota Baru, and west we have Selangor, we have Perak, we have Negeri Sembilan. So we are very well diversified as far as locations are concerned, countries are concerned, and we also went upstream to secure the supply of raw materials. So all this put us in a different situation, whereby we could assure our customers that not to worry. In the event if there is a scarcity of raw materials, of consumables, we have it covered for you.
So you're not affected by the global supply chain disruption
Not so
that's
much.
happening because of COVID-19?
Not so much. Why? Because we have our in-house packaging material. Why? Because we have our in-house former manufacturing. Why? Because we have our in-house chemicals. We have our in-house latex. And very soon we're going to have our in-house nitrile latex factory as well.
But you're still very much concentrated in Asia. Is there or are there plans to maybe expand to other parts of the world where there probably be more demands for gloves?
Yes, I think every month we receive requests from our customers. to say, come to my country, come to Latin America, come to Middle East, come to Eastern Europe, come to Philippines, Myanmar.
What's stopping you from
Start
going
a
to all those
factory.
countries?
Good question. Good question. Somehow, the advantage is always in Malaysia and ASEAN in particular. Why is it so? Because of the proximity to raw materials, because of the good support from the government. And in Malaysia particularly, we have the support of the government to enable foreign workers to come in to supplement our operations. You imagine, if Malaysia don't have foreign workers, the glove industry would not be where it is today. And also, credit should be given to the manufacturers in the industry, because over the past few years, they have reduced their foreign workers tremendously. Just take Top Glove for an example. Despite the fast expansion and increase in capacity that we have, over the last 3-4 years, we have reduced 3,000 foreign workers.
What's the ratio of foreign workers to local workers?
At the moment, it's roughly 6 to 4.
6 to 4?
Yes, 6 to 4.
Okay.
Yeah, so in a way, if you look at it, Malaysia is fortunate that we could afford foreign workers. Because if we could not afford foreign workers, meaning that our development is still very backward. We don't have the jobs, we don't have the industrial activity to enable us to employ them, to produce value-added gloves for export in the world. So I think what is important is that organizations like Top Glove, we are mindful of the need to reduce foreign workers. Like in the past, you might need 10 foreign workers to produce 1 million pieces of gloves. Right now, we are talking about less than 2 workers to produce 1 million pieces of gloves. So that is a big improvement, 5 times improvement over the past 20 over years. And Top Glove in particular, we have targeted technology, we have targeted innovation and automation, digitalization as part of our process to replace and reduce the reliance of foreign workers. And at the same time, we have taken a lot of steps to increase our ratio of local workers. Like for example, every year, we employed about 1,500 local graduates.
And these are skilled local workers,
yes,
right?
These are graduate workers. If you include the other local workers, easily about 2,000 to 3,000. 2,000 to 3,000. I think about 3,000 workers every year, employees. Out of which these 3,000 employees, about half of them are graduates. So it's not easy to find a company employing that many graduates, 1,500 per year. It's not many. But to us, it's a very important step in the right direction.
Let's talk about Top Glove also went through some lull periods in the past. There were times when demand was not as high as what you see right now. How did you go through those lull periods? Because I think a lot of companies would want to know right now, they are going through some really tough times. How do they survive this? And how do they ensure that they can still operate in a year's time or after 2 or 3 years? Because I think right now people are struggling to find their footing. So what advice would you give to SMEs, companies struggling to operate in this very uncertain period?
Yes. I think every business has to go through its cycle. And for glove manufacturing, there's no exception. After a period of very strong growth, there will be some consolidation in the market. But for the glove industry, we are lucky because in the past, the growth has been 8 to 12% per annum. After COVID-19, we expect the growth to increase 12 to 15% or even higher. Why is it so? Because a lot of people have come into contact with gloves for the first time. Just like a lot of people have come into contact with face masks. So I believe the usage of face masks will be more widespread in the future. And the same applies to gloves as well. So looking forward, we are thankful we are an industry whereby there is a demand for the product every day. every month and every year, and it's an essential product to be used in many industries, and it's a disposable product, and it's a very affordable product. That is important to protect people against viruses, bacteria, and also to protect people against injury. So if you ask me what would be my reflection on what we have gone through in the past to share with other entrepreneurs, I should say that if you are in a difficult time, do not despair. Do not feel sad. Do not give up, but work harder, work faster, and work smarter to try to overcome those difficulties, those challenges. Because as you are at your most difficult point, the breakthrough is just coming, just around the corner. So it's good to get yourself ready at this time by streamlining your operations, by cutting your wastages, and by improving your productivity, and get ready for the next level. Because the next level will certainly come. Usually, the best improvements are made during difficult times.
That's when you become a bit more creative, innovative,
more creative,
right?
to look at. And one thing is for sure, important for a lot of business to think about their digital platform. We were lucky because our digital platform was established 2-3 years ago. So when it comes for us to go into digital, online buying, selling, we were already there. So there is not that much of difficulty for us. And I should say that like every other business, like Top Glove, for example, the glove industry, we should also not be too happy, too complacent at this time. Because as we are most happy at this time, maybe difficult times are coming soon.
What advice would you give to your board or yourself or the chairman during this very prosperous time at Top Glove?
Yes, I think the important thing is that stick to the right business direction and continue to add value to our customers and all to our stakeholders, because this business is a long-term business, and it's a business that Top Glove has a very big target. We aspire to be in the Fortune Global 500 company.
Is there a target for that?
Yes, the target is 2040. And so to reach that target, our turnover have to be 30 times, and our annual turnover have to be US dollar 35 billion. So it's a tall order, but it's good to set a target so that our young talents, our energetic employees know that we have a right direction to go, and there is a lot of potential for them to move towards that direction.
Let's go back to dollars and cents. I think my last few questions would be on your share price.
Yes.
Your share price has increased about fourfolds, from about 5 ringgit earlier this year to about 20 ringgit right now. Besides the growth of your share price, what other values would you give to the stakeholders? We've talked about your employees, we've talked about SMEs working with you. What about shareholders? What can they expect from Top Glove in the future?
Yes, if you look at shareholders over the years, we have given dividends to them to the tune of at least about 1.3 billion ringgit Malaysia. Over the past, we were listed in 2001. So over the past 19 years, we have given a lot of dividends to them, at least about 1.3 to 1.4 billion. And looking forward, we are also looking at a good dividend payout for this year, this financial year, because we have performed well. And you also notice that we never ask our stakeholders or shareholders for money. Never at all. No rights issue, nothing at all. All the while has been bonus issue, many times of bonus issue. So to us, this is a reward for our shareholder, because one of the mantra of our business philosophy is do not lose the shareholders' money. Make good money for them, but don't lose their money.
But you also save money for yourself in case in the future there's more lull periods in the future.
Yeah, right.
I think my last question is, we've got about 6 months left before the end of 2020, and people are still very uncertain as to how the rest of 2020 will unfold.
Yes.
Are you optimistic when it comes to moving forward in the last 6 months of 2020?
For the glove industry?
For the glove industry, for the looking at how things are right now, the sluggish global economy, maybe you can focus on the glove industry. What do you make of
yes,
that? Are you
I
very
think glove
optimistic
industry
moving
will
forward?
still be good. Will still be good because we have seen it 30 years ago when there was a big demand, a big surge in demand for gloves during the HIV time, the pandemic. So in fact, the prices that they recorded at that time, 30 years ago, is similar to the prices we are selling now. Those kind of spot prices, because there's just not enough gloves available in a lot of the countries. A lot of the distributors and importers' warehouses are all empty. So they have no gloves at all. And this time, the event is happening to every country in the world. Unlike HIV previously, it was more towards the bigger countries like America and Europe. But this time, we are seeing it applying to every corner of the world. So we think that this situation will continue to carry on. But we hope that a vaccine could be found soon, so that it will alleviate the human sufferings that are currently available in every part of the world. But meanwhile, as a corporate citizen, we are doing our best to ensure that the gloves are being produced speedily and are being shipped to our customers in every part of the world where it's much needed.
On that note, we thank you very much, Datuk.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Rajit, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.